נברך בעזרת. Welcome dear women. I'm sorry for my voice, but welcome. I love you. I love you, and I want to start today. This is the Yortzeit of Rachel Imeinu. We have the merit to gather here together. It's a big zchut. Hashem loves us. Look, He called each and every lady that is here. Hashem called her to come. You didn't come on your own. Hashem told you to come to this lesson, to have the merit and the zchut of Rachel Imeinu. So I would like to first bless all of us, Bezrat Hashem, שיתגלה משיח צדקנו בימינו אמן, שיגיע מבשר אליהו הנביא אליהו תשבי אליהו גלעדי, במהרה יבוא אלינו משיח בן דוד אליהו נביא זכור לטוב. You know, Rachel Imeinu is not a regular woman. And we know from her story that Yaakov Avinu wanted to marry her, and he married her sister. And his father cheated him and put Leah instead of Rachel. I want to start from the place that it's written Parashat Vayetze. ותר רחל כי לא ילדה ליעקב ותקנא רחל באחותה. It says that Rachel saw, please pay attention, it's very interesting. It's a lesson for life. Rachel, sees that her sister has children and she doesn't have children. And it's written in the Torah that Rachel is jealous of her sister. Very weird. Look what happens after that. She goes to Yaakov and she tells Yaakov, Hava li banim, ve'im ayin meta anochi. She says, please, bring me children, sons, and if not, I'm considered dead. Look what Yaakov tells her. Vayichar av Yaakov berachel. Yaakov is very angry with her. And he says, Vayomer, atachat Elokim anochi. He's so angry, he says, am I instead of Hashem, asher mana mimech pri beten, that prevented you from having children? These are very harsh words to Rachel, that he loves her more than he loves himself. All of this episode is very weird. It raises a lot of questions. It's not a regular thing. Rachel, that gave up her husband and let her sister marry her husband, is now jealous of her sister. And you know, it's written that before Leah became pregnant, it's written, Vayar Hashem kisnua Leah. Hashem saw that Leah was hated. People disliked her. Yaakov Avinu too. And it says, Vayiftach et rachma berachel akara. And Hashem opens her womb so she can get pregnant. And Rachel, Hashem does not give her, He closes her womb. So the Midrash says, Kisnua Leah, Leah is hated, Rachel akara. Why is Rachel akara? Because Leah is hated. Because Leah is not loved. Wow! What does Hashem want from Rachel? To listen very carefully. Rachel cannot bring children because Leah is hated. She's not loved.
By the husband?
By the husband people. אומר המדרש, לאה שנואה, רחל הכרה. למה רחל הכרה? בגלל שלאה שנואה. Wow, this is very harsh. I would like to go back in the story and just remind you that Rivka tells Yaakov to go to Lavan, to her brother, and over there he will find his wife. And Yaakov goes and he sees Rachel. And it says that Leah, the eyes of Leah are weak. And Rachel is beautiful. Her beauty shines from its beauty from inside and outside. What did Leah do that her eyes were so weak? She was crying. Why was she crying? Because the people of Haran told her that Yitzchak has 2 sons and Lavan has 2 daughters. The older son is for the older daughter and the younger son is for the younger daughter. So Esav is for Leah and Yaakov is for Rachel. But one thing they forgot, that they switched. First of all, Yaakov took, you remember what happened? Yaakov became the Bechor, the firstborn, because he bought the Bechorah from Esav. Esav did not have any respect for the Bechorah. He sold it in Zid Adashim, with the soup, dear women. So he sold the Bechorah. Leah was standing and crying. She was davening to Hashem. התפללה לקדוש ברוך הוא, please Hashem, don't let me fall in the hands of a wicked man. Please, I don't want to marry him. The Midrash says if Leah would have married Esav, she would bring him to do tshuva. He would have done tshuva. נו, באמת לא חבל. But look, אני אסביר לכם. But I'm sorry for my voice, it's hard for me to. אבל, dear women, Leah wanted to have the Mary to be part of the children of Israel. She was a Neviah. She was a prophet. She knew that they're supposed to be from Yaakov, 12 tribes. She wanted to have part of it. Because she knew that the children of Israel are the firstborn of Hashem. We are the daughters of the king. We are princesses, all of us. And all the sons of Israel are the princes of Hashem. We are the firstborn of Hashem, all of us. איזה זכות להיות בני מלך ובנות מלך. She knew that. She wanted to have part of this. She knew she couldn't make him do tshuva, but she wanted to be part of the children of Israel. תראו כמה בשביל הקדושה, for the holiness, how much she cried until all of the eyelashes fell from her eyes, and her eyes seemed very weak. So Hashem said that Leah prayed before Rachel. So התפילה שלה הקדימה אותה. The prayer of Leah became before Rachel. But look, it's written, just a minute.
את רוצה מים חמים?
תחזיקי, לא, תחזיקי רגע.
יש לה פה, אולי אני אוסיף לך קצת מים חמים פה.
Leila, it's better to be Roger of tailing here.
Look, it's written.
חו. כן. Hier, als het chance aan het. Chance aan het.
Look, girl. Leah. בסדר, לא זה שלי. לאה שנואה, לאה is hated, and רחל עקרה. עקרה means עיקר הבית. She is the essence of the home of Israel. רחל מבכה על בניה. In Yirmiyahu the prophet, it says that Rachel is crying for her children, which means that all of the children, all the 12 tribes are named after Rachel. All of them, not after Leah, and not after Zilpah, and not after Bilhah, but only after Rachel. Rachel מבכה על בניה. Wow, it's hard. Wait. רחל מבכה על בניה. Dear women, and why is this? Because she's Ikar Abayit. Ikar. She's the essence of the Jewish home. Why? Because, dear ladies, because of Rachel, Yaakov Avinu married Leah, Bilhah, Zilpah. He had 4 wives because of Rachel. Let's look at the story. When Hashem ruined the temple, the first and the second, it says in the Midrash that Hashem was crying, and he said, please, he called Yirmiyahu the prophet, and he told him, Yirmiyahu, he says, Yirmiyahu, please go and wake up the 3 forefathers and Moshe Rabbeinu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Moshe Rabbeinu. He says to him, לך תעיר אותם. Why? Because הם יודעים איך לבכות. They know how to cry. They can cause judgment to become mercy. מה הוא רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא להפוך את הדינים לחסד על עם ישראל? So he told him, let's call them. But he said, Hashem, I don't know where Moshe Rabbeinu is buried. So Hashem told him, go and say, Ben Amram, גלה עצמך. tell to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ben Amram is the son of Amram, the son of Avram, the son of Amram, show yourself. So when Yirmiyahu Navi goes to Avraham Avinu, he wakes him up. And Avraham Avinu says to him, Avraham, you have to come and to stand in front of Hashem. He says, what happened? He didn't tell him. Why? Because he didn't want to tell him that in his time, this is what happened to the children of Israel, and the temple was ruined. And all of the children of Israel were exiled to Babylon, to Iraq of today. So he woke up also Yitzchak, he woke up Yaakov, and he went and he called Ben Amram, the son of Amram. And Moshe is asking him, Moshe Rabbeinu says, what happened? Why does Hashem want me? He says, I don't know what happened. So Moshe Rabbeinu asked the angels, and the angels say to Moshe Rabbeinu, don't you know the temple was ruined and all of the children of Israel are in exile? So they are all standing in front of Hashem. And Hashem speaks to Avraham Avinu, and Avraham says, Hashem, what did you do? He says, Avraham Avinu takes his beard and he starts tearing his beard and his hair from his head, and he cries and he says, how could you do this to my children when all of the world worship idols? I was the only one who was willing to stand up, to stand up and to announce in the world that you are Hashem, you are the King of Kings, you are the creator of the world. And I was willing to be 3 days Be'ur Kasdim, inside the fire, inside the oven, only for your sake, Hashem. And when you ask me for the only son that I have from Sarah, Yitzchak, to take and to put him on the altar and to slaughter him for you, I did this without any mercy, he says. How could you do it to my children? Hashem listened to him, but he says, this won't help the children of Israel. So Yitzchak came in front, and Yitzchak told him, Yitzchak Avinu said, Hashem, I was willing to be the sheep on the altar. I had told Abraham to tie my hands and my legs. I told my father, and I was willing to take out my throat in order to do your will. Please have mercy upon my children. And Hashem says, this won't help the children of Israel. And then came Yaakov Avinu, and Yaakov says, Hashem, don't you know what I went through? Don't you remember everything, all the suffering of Gidul Sar, Gidul Panim that I had? You remember I had to run from Esav that wanted to kill me. I went to Lavan that cheated me. And then I had to take my children and run away from him, from Lavan. And then Esav was waiting for me with 400 people to fight, to open a war against me. And then I had the problems of Dinah. He said Hashem, and then I had the problems of Yosef. And then Binyamin went also to Egypt. Please, in all the sake of the suffering that I went through, please help my children. And Hashem says, this won't help at this time, your children. And then Rachel Imeinu jumps in front of him. And Rachel Imeinu cries, and she said, Hashem, she wasn't invited. She wasn't called. She came on her own, because she was buried on the way when all of the children of Israel were exiled to Babylon. She was on the way, and she was the one that defending the children of Israel. She jumps in front of Hashem. She says, Hashem, you know that Yaakov Avinu loved me so much, and I loved him so much, and I wanted to be part of this tzaddik. And she says, and I saw my father, all the presents that Yaakov Avinu gave me, my father gave it to Leah, my sister. And then on the day of the wedding, when I see, the wedding gown, when I see the dress, my father calls me, he calls my sister, and he puts the dress on her. And I knew that my father is going to do this. And even though he was going to do this, I was speaking to Yaakov, and he gave me signs. So Yaakov will know if I am the Kala or she is the Kala. Because she has a veil that you cannot see the face of the Kala. So she says, Hashem, I was thinking, if I won't give her the signs, she will come to shame, Yela Busha. all of the people of Haran will see her as a non-righteous woman. And I was thinking, should I think about my love, my feelings, my heart? Should I think about myself or about my sister, that she won't come to shame? So I gave her the signs. If you imagine such a thing, I gave her the signs, even though I loved him, and I knew that now she will be with him and I won't be with him. And I gave her the signs. And that night, in order that he won't know that she is Leah, under the bed, I went crawling out under the bed, and all the questions that he asked her, I answered. So he won't recognize her voice. You know how hard this is?
Oh my God.
How hard to control your heart, your feelings, your emotions? She says, Hashem, I'm only a human being. And if I am a human being and I could לכבוש, conquered, and I conquered my feelings of jealousy, and I gave everything to my sister. You should help my children. So Hashem says, only for you, Rachel, I'm going to save them. Only for you. Only for your sacrifice. So after such a sacrifice, how can it be written in the Torah? Ki snua Leah v'Rachel akera. And the Midrash says, because Leah is hatred, Rachel doesn't have children. Hashem should have gave her 1,000,000 children for what she did. How come? First of all, the truth is, the Zohar Kadosh says, Rachel was supposed to have the first child. But this is the power of praying. Leah was the first one to pray to Hashem to marry Yaakov. Rachel knew that she's going to marry Yaakov. But Leah was the first one to pray for it. Sometimes we think that something is obvious. Nothing is obvious. We need to pray for things that we think that they're obvious. That we have them in life and we think that this is, well, we have it, we're going to have it. No, it's not obvious. זה לא מובן מאליו. Even though we think that it's going to be, we need to pray for it, for everything that we have in life. Nothing is to be taken as for granted. Nothing. שום דבר לא צריך לקחת בעולם הזה כמובן מאליו. Everything you need to pray. Because when you pray, you put the name of Hashem in every step that you do. And when the name of Hashem is there, you get everything easily, quickly. So it says, שהקדימה אותה בתפילה. She is the one that did the prayer first. But then, because she was so righteous, Rachel, Hashem, after he saw that all the people of Haran thought that she was wicked because she didn't have children at the beginning. So they said, she was playing like a tzaddiket. She was just, just make believe that she's very righteous, but here she took the husband of a sister and she doesn't have children because Hashem did not bless this marriage. And Yaakov listened to all of these. This was Lashon Hara, slandering about them. So Hashem said, Rachel, you are above the feelings of human beings. You should have seen to it that Leah would not be hated. Look what Hashem demanded from her. Not only that she gave her husband to her, but it's more than that. That she should see to it that her sister would not be hated. Did you understand the level of what Hashem demanded from her? שהקדוש ברוך הוא רצה שהיא תדאג שלאה לא תהיה שנואה. שהיא הייתה צריכה לדאוג לזה. That's why she didn't have children. And there was a big purpose for this. Because then she comes to Yaakov and she asks for children. Yaakov is praying for her. And Yaakov says, you know what? Do exactly what my grandfather did, what Sarah and my grandmother did. You remember when Sarah did not have children after 10 years? She told him, I didn't bear children for you. Take my maid and make her your wife and have children from her. So he said, maybe in that marriage you will have children. Yeah. And then she took Bilhah. And Bilhah married, first of all, Yaakov freed Bilhah. And then he married her. And from her she had 2 children. Meanwhile, before these 2 children, Leah had 4 children. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, dear women. And after Leah stopped giving children, getting pregnant, she saw what her sister did. She gave Zilpah to Yaakov Avinu too. So because of Rachel, 4 women got married to Yaakov Avinu to bring the 12 tribes. Everything is because of Rachel. She is the cause. She is the essence of all of this. Dear women. And then look at it. So Rachel is jealous of her sister. How? איך יכול להיות jealousy? כתוב בפירוש. ותקנא רחל באחותה. This is Rachel that gave up everything for her sister. How can she be jealous? This is a lesson for life. This is not a regular jealousy. זה לא, רגע.
מה שאומרים.
No. Dear women, listen. It's not the jealousy that we know. That we are jealous of other people's things. Or, for example, the woman that sees that another woman is pregnant, she's jealous of her pregnancy if she's not pregnant. No.
If you help her with the signs, you cannot be jealous.
It's not a regular jealousy. We need to study from her. She was jealous because of her good deeds. מהמעשים הטובים שלה והמצוות. She said, Rachel said, wow, she is a true tzaddiket, my sister. If Hashem gave her children and He didn't give me, it means that she has mitzvot that I did not do. Such a high level of mitzvot. Zchuyot, the zchut that she had, the marriage that she had. Dear women, do you understand what kind of jealousy? This is kinat sofrim tarbe chokhmah. It's not the negative jealousy, it's the positive jealousy. This is the kind of jealousy, dear women, that everybody needs to have. When we don't have enough money or property in this world, in the physical things in this world, we should look at people that have less than us. Then we'll be satisfied. Then we'll see that we have plenty. Then we'll see that we have plenty. But dear women, when we look at our spiritual level, we should look at the people that are higher, in a higher spiritual level. And then we should envy them, and we would want to be like them. Why? Because this is the only bag that we take to the true world. But listen, both of you, this is the only bag. Nothing, we do not take anything. Not money, nothing. We do not take that beautiful house or 10 houses that we have. We do not take the jewelry. We do not take the shoes that we buy. We do not take all the bags that we buy, all the clothing. Dear women, the only thing that we take with us is the good deeds and the mitzvot, the commandments that we fulfilled. Why did Rachel have a merit? Because of her modesty. You have to understand, you cannot get to such a high level without modesty. Modesty is anava. A person who has tzniut has anava. It starts with anava, because anava, the humbleness. Humbleness shows modesty. From this is a gratefulness from humbleness. I gave a full lesson last week, not here, about the karatator to anava. This is modesty. From here comes a karatator, and from here comes tzniut. Dear ladies, look over here. This is tzniut. From here comes tzniut. Me'anava you have gratefulness. From gratefulness you have tzniut. Why? Because Rachel Imeinu understood. Zchuta tagen alenu. Rachel Imeinu understood that nothing is important really in this world except for making the children of Hashem happy, and not Hashem Yishmo, and Bemet Hashem Yishmo, and not hurting anyone. Why? Because each and every one of us has the essence of Hashem inside him. בכל אחד ואחד מאיתנו יש אלוקות. The essence of Hashem inside of each and every one of us. So dear women, you have to understand, we have to respect and love each other. She understood this. She took the person that she loved, that is going to be her husband, the father of her children, gave him up for her sister in order that her sister will not be shamed. Do you understand the level of this tzedeket? This is a very high level. So dear women, how do we come to tzniut? And I told you that tzniut covers all, Baruch Hashem, of the 620 mitzvot. When I write tzniut, shh, I know part of you are translating things. When I write tzniut without the vav, b'chtiv chaser, you see the tzaddik is 90, nun is 50, Yud in numerical value is 10, Ayin is 70, Taf is 400. Dear women, together, 490 and plus 10 is 500, plus 70, 570 plus 50, 620. 600. Do you see over there the board?
מה זה?
Do you see the board? כולם רואים את הלוח שם? אתם רואים?
זה בסדר, לא בסדר.
Okay, 620. 620 is the whole mitzvot of the Torah, כולל רבנן, including רבנן. There's Taryag mitzvot 630. Doraita 630. There are 7 mitzvot the Rabbanan. 7 from our sages, the Rabbanan. Dear women, together it's 620. 620 numerical value. 600 equals the letter Tav, okay, and Resh. Together, Tav is 400, Resh is 200, together it's 600. Then 20 in numerical value is the letter Chaf. Tav, Resh, Chaf, it's Keter, a crown. Keter, crown.
Keter.
Which means modesty equals Keter, crown. We are the daughters of a king. That's why we are called the crown of our husbands, Ateret Rosham of our husbands. Why? Because once we are tzniut in clothing, that we cover ourselves, we cover beyond the elbow, beyond after the knee, and go with stockings. This is tzniut. We cover our heads. If we are married, divorced, or widowed, we cover our heads. The way we walk, the way we talk, the way we present ourselves. This is called tzniut. The way that we don't shout. Divrei Chachamim benachat nishmeim. We speak gently. We speak nicely to each other. We don't get angry. These are the daughters of a king. So dear women, this is Keter. We are crowned. By tzniut we are crowned. In Chalila v'chas, we are not tzniut. The Keter becomes, you just change the letters inside the Keter, and it becomes Lo Alenu Karet. Listen very carefully here, you heard this. It's Karet. You understand? We cannot say we don't know it. We cannot say we didn't hear this. Im Lo Ze Karet, the letters change inside the word, and instead, and Karet is death. We're going to speak about this measure of karet in the continuing lessons of Tomer Dvorah Bezrat Hashem. But otherwise, we are a crown. We are the crown of the children of Israel. It says in the merit of righteous women, the children of Israel were saved from Mitzrayim. But in what merit? In the merit that they were tzniut, that they were modest. In this merit, they colored themselves and they made themselves pretty for their husbands, not for the men outside. That's what they did. They looked after their husbands and their children. That's why the children were also righteous. And the ones that were not righteous did not go out of Egypt. 80% of the children of Israel died in Egypt, בתוך מצרים, in the plague of darkness, במכת החושך. עד כדי כך. So dear women, צניעות is very important. רחל אימנו, because of her modesty, she could have done this thing. Otherwise she couldn't have done it. Because of her modesty. That's why we see it. Hashem, the first, when we pass from this world to the next world, the first questions that we asked, Margot, the first question is, were you tzniut? Were you modest?
To women.
And why to women? Betach, you know why? Because Hashem did not ask the angels in order if He will create us or not. Hashem asked the angels about the first human being, but not about us. About us, only about men, not about us. Hashem created us with a lot of love. And while He was creating Chava, Hashem said, be modest. In every part of her body that He created, He said, be modest. Hey Yitznuah, hey Yitznuah. So it's our nature to be modest. You know when we are not modest, dear women? You know when we don't have shame. Kshen busha. When a person is not modest, it means that he doesn't have shame. When you have shame, like the first human being, after he saw that he's naked, he went and hid himself. He was hiding. And Hashem says, Ayeka. He calls him, where are you? He says, I'm hiding. He says, why are you hiding? He says, because I'm naked. He says, how did you know that you are naked? So dear women, when we don't have shame, then we're not modest. But in our days it's very hard because the society is like this. And wherever we go, we see things like this. We don't see the righteous, we see all the other people. It's not that they are not righteous. And because I'm sure every single human being in the world does good things too. But the problem is that this is a norm today. Zot norma. This is the norm today in the world. We need to wake up because this is a critical year. This is a year that every minute Mashiach can show himself. This is a year that we can see that already the war started. Look at the Arab countries. They have wars inside them. Each country is going only to spread. It won't stop. But we can change it because it said, בזכות נשים צדקניות נגאלו ממצרים ובזכותן עתידים להיגאל. We have the merit to bring Mashiach. Us, all the women that sits over here, all of the Israelites, the women have the merit to bring Mashiach. ממש תרתי משמע. ממש ככה. How? By tzniut. Just by being tzniut. Showing, being a candle for Klal Yisrael. Just by being a tzniut. When we will be tzniut, also with our mouth, tzniut. We won't speak, not even at home. Our children will see, will be a light to our children and to our husbands. I don't know, maybe I told you the story over here. There's a story about a husband that used to behave very badly to his wife. He used to shout at her and curse her. And she got very angry, and every time after she got, she ate everything inside, but she didn't say anything, and then after a while, she exploded and used to shout. She went to the rabbi and she said, I cannot do that anymore. I have to get a divorce from him. The rabbi said, no, don't get a divorce. I will tell you what to do, and after you do this, tell me what happened. So dear ladies, he told her, take a wood board and take nails. And every time that your husband curses you, go to the attic, take a hammer and put a nail on there. Okay? So she said, okay, Rabbi, I'm going to do exactly what you told me. She goes home and her husband comes back from work and he sees that she didn't finish a few things. He shouts at her. She doesn't answer him. She goes up to the attic, takes a nail, and takes the hammer and just puts it inside the wood. Okay? The next day again, So every day that he comes and he shouts at her, she goes and puts another nail. After a while, he says, tell me, what's going on with you? I shout at you. תשמעי, the socialist people. I shout at you and you go upstairs and you come back and you don't shout back. She says, well, I went to the rabbi and the rabbi told me every time that you behave badly towards me, I should go upstairs, take a nail and a hammer and just put it inside the wood. And she says, oh wait, I want to see what's going on with that wood. She says, my pleasure, come with me. So they go upstairs and he sees that the wood like had at least 100 nails inside. He says, wow, this is the amount of the times that I did not behave nicely to you? She says, yes. He says, you know what? Tell your rabbi that now I'm going to behave nice to you. And I want to tell you, every day that passes and I behave nicely to you, I want you to take one nail out. Okay? So the next day, he comes back home from work, and he behaves so nicely to her. He brings flowers. He helps her to wash the dishes. If she didn't finish with the children, she goes upstairs, she takes the other side of the hammer and just take one nail out. And it continues. After a while, he says, tell me, how many nails are there? She says, no nails. So he goes up to see it. He says, you see, now I'm a good husband, he says. Look, all the nails are out. But she says, look at the wood, she says. You see how many holes are in the wood? This is the times, because when we hurt a person, dear women, we cause a hole in his soul. When we hurt, look at Rachel, in order to not to hurt her sister, she gave up her own life at that time. When we hurt a person, we cause a hole in his soul. There were two people in Yerushalayim, it's a true story, that passed away on the same day. One of them was very righteous. He had a kollel, he was a big rabbi, he made a lot of mitzvot and helped a lot of people. The other one did not do any of the commandments. He didn't know the commandments. But he kept all the mitzvot בין אדם לחברו.
היה נהדר, אני אחפש אותך.
בסדר, נשאר.
בעזרת השם בלה תתחתן.
אמן, אמן בעזרת השם, גם את, יישר כוח.
יישר כוח.
דברי כל טוב, אנחנו שמחים, תבואי לכל שיעור, כל יום שני. אוקיי, בסדר, כל טוב. Dear women, so it says that both of them went at the same time to heaven. So the first one that did not know the commandments, Hashem now is judging him, and Bet Din is the court of heaven is judging him. And they tell him, because he didn't do the commandments, you will go to hell, Legeinom, and from there to Gan Eden. But the righteous man, the righteous rabbi, that did all the mitzvot, and had a kollel, and praised the name of Hashem all the time, they told him that he has to come in reincarnation. So he asked, how come? Look, he was just before me and he didn't do any of the commandments, but he's not going to have any reincarnation. He's going to gain up and from there straight to Gan Eden. But I did everything. But you have to call Hashem. It's not right. So Hashem comes and Hashem tells him, my son, I love you so much. You praised my name here in this world. You did everything that I wanted, but you had anger. You didn't speak nicely to people. Sometimes you didn't behave nice to other people. You didn't even pay attention. I'm calling these souls. I want you to see them. And Hashem calls these souls. And in each soul, when they got hurt from him, there's a hole in the soul. Like that became like a hole in the soul. He says, and this we cannot forgive you, because Averot sheben Adam lechavero, even Yom Kippur does not forgive. Even on Yom Kippur it's not forgiven. When we transgress, we have sins between us and other human beings, even Yom Kippur we are not forgiven. Only over the sins that we have between us and Hashem, but not between us and other human beings. Rachel Imeinu is the symbol of this. Rachel Imeinu is the one that she knew it, and it was part of her soul and her body. She practiced it. היא ממש תרגלה את זה פה. She understood and she didn't speak badly about her sister. Just think about it. She didn't go to someone and say, look, my sister took my husband. I was supposed to marry him. She didn't say a word. How many people did we eat with our mouth? How many people did we slander with our mouth? We didn't speak nicely about them. How many people, dear women? Each soul that we did, we are all connected. It's not a coincidence. We don't have coincidences in this world. Coincidences in Hebrew is mikre. And mikre. Mikre is rak me'Hashem. The letters is rak, everything is from Hashem. If we met each other, we have a fixing. If Hashem called us to come here, we have a fixing. Let us have the midot, the measures of Rachel Imeinu. Let us try to be like Rachel Imeinu, and let us bless that in her merit, Bezrat Hashem, Mashiach will be here. And in her merit, all of us will come to the land of Israel. L'Eretz Yisrael al Kanfei Nesharim. And let us bless Bezrat Hashem, Sheliyahu HaNavi Zachur Lakro Yegia.
Amen.
And Bezrat Hashem, let me bless all of you. לעולם ייפרד אדם מחברו בדבר הלכה יחיד ורבים הלכה כרבים.
Amen.
I love you girls. Hashem bless you all. Bezrat Hashem. I will say the blessing for all of us. Bezrat Hashem.
יש לי שאלה.